Calculating the probability of a particular event means calculating the likelihood that that event will occur. In this chapter, you saw several different types of probability problems, and I'd like to start with one of the simplest, most basic. Yeah, I guess that all depends, right? But it's a problem where you are given a set of odds and you're asked to calculate a probability from those odds. The problem that we're asked to do is shown. The odds are 5 to 8 that you can beat up your little brother. Apparently, your little brother is quite large. What you're asked for is what is the probability that you will lose. So we're given some odds and we're asked for a probability. Okay, let's turn to some definitions and see how this might be done. First of all, how do we define odds? Odds are defined as the number of successful outcomes divided by the number of remaining outcomes. Sometimes the number of remaining outcomes is equal to the number of unsuccessful outcomes, but not always. In this case, it is. Okay, so in our problem, we have odds of 5 to 8, but our definition of odds gives a fraction. Well, that's okay. Odds can be written either way. They can be written as a fraction. And so what that 5 to 8 means is that 5 times you're going to be successful. You're going to beat your little brother up. But 8 times he's going to beat you up. So of a total of, let's say, the first 13 times you people wrestle, you're going to win 5 times and he's going to win 8 times. Now, how do we put that in terms of probability? First of all, I want to quickly discuss empirical and theoretical probability. Empirical probability is when you perform an experiment, and let's say you do it, I don't know, several times, and you calculate a probability from that. Well, you know, if you only do an experiment a few times, things might not be working quite right, and your results might not be the true case. They might be slanted because, I don't know, something was occurring that day. It was cloudy, and so the plants didn't grow the same, or, you know, it's empirical. It's via experiment. It's not always exactly the way that things are going to be in a theoretical sense. A theoretical sense says, okay, you've done this experiment 2 million times, and now we're certain that the probabilities that we're calculating are exact. Let's write down how we would state this. The probability of event E is equal to the number of favorable outcomes divided by the total number of outcomes. These two definitions are similar, but as you can see, they're not the same. In the numerator, odds has number of successful outcomes, and probability has favorable outcomes. Well, those two are the same. However, in the denominator, it's where we differ. Odds, it's the number of remaining outcomes, but in probability, it's the total number of outcomes. So if we were to calculate probability in this problem, what are the number of favorable outcomes? Well, we first might jump up there and say it's 5 because that's successful outcomes. But that's not the case in this problem. Why? It's because we were asked, what is the probability that you will lose, not win? And of those 13 events, how many times do you lose? You lose 8 of those times. And so we're interested in that 8 as our numerator. Total number of outcomes. Well, you lose 8 out of how many? Well, you just have to add the numerator and denominator. We lose 8 out of 13 times. 8/13 is the probability that we will lose the next time we wrestle our little brother.